Hello and welcome back. So in this video we are discussing a new age Dalit writer, that is Yogesh Maitreya. So we'll be having a brief discussion about his works and how they are different from the works of previous generation, that is the works before 2000s. Yogesh Maitreya is a new age Dalit writer who paints a picture of sufferings of the community while cultivating new aesthetic values. So again, at the core of Dalit literature, we have this portrayal of sufferings or the problems faced by this community. So Maitreya takes that idea forward and he adds new aesthetics to this portrayal of Dalit identity. So what do I mean by that? So Yogesh Maitreya's poems are quite subtle and not in your face. For example, Namdev Dasa's poems are very harsh. They use a very straightforward language, very unfiltered language, I can say. But Yogesh Maitreya, on the other hand, he focuses on the subtleties of Dalit discrimination, and his uh, onus is more on, I can say that, on the urban side of Dalit oppression. The oppressor uses a certain set of myths to continue the domination over subjugated in a process wherein he also tries to justify why he is superior. So Maitreya also argues in one of his poems that the oppressor or the upper caste people, they argue that this power is endowed on us by the God. Okay, and God has given us this duty to rule over other people who are inferior to us according to the Varna system. So because of their belief in this Varna system or the system that they are superior and the Dalits are inferior, on the other hand, that gives them the agency, okay, to justify their dominance over the other communities. So that's why it is a need of the hour to uh, get over or to have research on these myths and actually test these myths whether they are true or not. Okay, because these myths are giving agency and they are in a way justifying the oppression that Dalit people are subjected to. Primarily, it is an exclusion of Dalit experience and a voice from the mainstream literary chorus that fueled the need to have distinctive approach to look at Dalits. So see, some people may argue that why do we need Dalit literature as a separate stream? Because we want, because literature is literature at the end of the day, right? But to understand literature, we have some structures, some theories are there to understand and to interpret literature. But these theories are shaped by mainstream paradigms or mainstream ideas. And Dalit literature doesn't get justice when you apply the same mainstream aesthetics or the mainstream ideas, mainstream theories to Dalit works, because they are very different from the mainstream works. That's why they require their own structure to understand and to portray their ideas. After that, we have the advent of Dalit literature in the India. In India, has also given rise to new aesthetic sensibility. So see, because of Dalit literature, now we have an alternative aesthetic sensibility in India now. Because our Indian aesthetics is based on the principle of Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram, but Dalit literature is a kind of departure from that idea, because there is the idea of beauty is totally different in mainstream literature and in Dalit literature. The beauty in the literature cannot be seen in the valleys of Switzerland, because they have no chance to go to Switzerland or even Kashmir. So their idea of beauty will be very different from the mainstream idea of beauty. And their beauty or their aesthetics is all about their suffering and their problems. Okay, because they have only when a person has a full stomach, he can think about the beauty and philosophical things. But when a person is not having even food to fill his stomach, again he can't have romantic ideas or philosophical ideas. So that's where the literature comes in, and it presents an alternative approach towards looking at Indian aesthetics. After that, unlike the mainstream literary tradition, Dalit literature is not radical and revolutionary. So see, Dalit literature is very revolutionary, and it defies the traditional approach towards looking at literature. So literature, the main purpose of literature before the advent of the literature was to please other people, was to please, give pleasure, or invoke some feelings uh, in the reader. But the literature has taken this responsibility of creating a sense of awareness about what goes on in the corners of the society, and uh, a large section of the population of India is facing subjugation, and they are subjected to take part into this oppressive idea, and there is no escape. There is no escape. So one must, of course, talk about these things, and Dalit literature provides that stage. After that, the Savarna aesthetic paradigm, characterized by its emphasis on truth, goodness, and beauty, proves inadequate in capturing atrocities and subjugation experienced by Dalit communities. So, as I said earlier, this idea of Satyam Shivam Sundaram is not applicable to Dalit literature, because these ideas are shaped by upper class people who have never gone through the struggles or the problems that Dalit people face on everyday basis. So that's why they lack this exposure to these kinds of struggles, and thereby there is no framework, there is no suitable framework that can handle or interpret the ideas or the linguistic elements that Dalit poetry uses, or the Dalit novel uses, because we have all, of course, seen that the poetry of Namdev Dasab, Avrao Bagul, Sharan Kumar Limbade, their poetry is very different from the poetry, let us say, Rabindranath Tagore's poetry. Okay, because we see a difference. Tagore talks about more philosophical things, but Dasar talks about the ground reality of Mumbai. Okay, so that's how this idea of aesthetics is entirely different in the literature. So see, after that, let us come back to the author, Yogesh Maitreya. Yogesh Maitreya is a young and unique voice in the contemporary Dalit literature who had to start his own publishing house to put forward his ideas, that is Panther's Paw publication. So see, similar to the plight of other Dalit authors as well, Yogesh Maitreya had also struggled to to put across his ideas, because not many people were supportive of what he had to say, because it was not entirely politically correct, right? Of course it was not politically correct. So because he was questioning the set paradigms and the norm of the society, so that's why he is a revolutionary voice in the contemporary the literature scene, and wherein we see that he has taken a lot many efforts to put across his ideas, and he has established his own publication house, and now he supports Dalit authors from across India, okay, who share their experience. Recently, there is a publication wherein a Dalit person from Goa has published his uh, Dalit work, and it is one of its kind. It is very revolutionary, and it is quite commendable what Yogesh Maitreya is doing. After that, we see, let us look at some of the ideas of Yogesh Maitreya. Maitreya critiques the hypocrisy of urban educated individuals who are perceived as more civilized but are deeply entrenched by casteism. So see, we feel that casteism is only there in the villages, but Maitreya shows us that it is not limited to villages. It has to do with the mindset of Indian people, not only villagers. So in all corners of India, the casteism is very apparent. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it is village or urban. Of course, the level of oppression is, of course, different in villages and urban areas, but in urban areas, the oppression is quite subtle. They will not call you by your caste, of course, in urban areas, but they will take in some other methods to show you your place. So that discrimination again can be very easily seen in urban areas. For example, if you get into a very good college, people will ask you, are you a management student or some quota student? Okay, quota students. So for example, we have a very very important novel by, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name, Government Brahmana. Okay, it is a very important novel, and in that you see all this, all this hatred towards reservation of the Dalits. So again, we see that all this hatred is primarily coming from the urban population, and we see why, we see the reasons why they are unhappy about it, but they lack this maturity to understand why this reservation was put in the first place. After that, the Festival of Humanity relates to Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's conversion of Buddhism. He converted himself from Dalit to Buddhism. He acclaimed, "I feel free from hell." So there is one quote that I would like to tell here, that Ambedkar, when he was converted from Hinduism to Buddhism, he said that, "I feel that I am free from hell." So see, again, Ambedkar was a very vocal critique of Hinduism and Hindu practices. He believed that Hinduism is biased uh, towards some people over the other, and that's why he said that the treatment that I have got being a Hindu. So now that I'm no more a Hindu, now I feel that as if I am free from hell. So again, there is, let me talk about some things about Yogesh Maitreya again. So there is a short story by Yogesh Maitreya, "Flowers on the Grave of Caste." Again, very important one. He presents a beautiful analogy. So in that story, there is a beautiful analogy that he presents. The flower symbolizes the truth, the growth of the Dalit community. So again, flowers, they are growing. Flowers are a symbol of growth and youth, right? So flowers are growing, and they symbolize the growth of Dalit community, which is growing in India, and Dalit people are coming together. This also shows us the newly found unity in Dalit people. The writer says, "If you plant the seed of a flower and all these on all these graves and nourish it, it will grow." The flower does not know any religion. So flower, of course, is not aware of any religion. For example, a small baby is not aware of any religion, but it is the society that brainwashes him or gives him ideas that, okay, this caste is lower caste, this caste is medium or average caste, or these other castes are high castes or upper castes. Then the flower does not know any religion. Their character is to grow and spread life. In this quote, the writer refers seeds as education. So seeds are a reference to education. Okay, for example, if you get education now, they are like seeds, and seeds will of course produce plants later on. They will produce flowers, fruits. Okay, so seeds is your hard work. Okay, so it is your investment. And flower as education, education, and grave as casteism. So see, in this analogy we see that flower is a symbol for education and growth of Dalit community, and grave is nothing but casteism. So only when we stand on the grave of casteism, only then we can, you know, grow in our community. So this means that uh, in order to become, in order to have a comfortable life, a dignified life, education is the pathway here. Okay, education is like a seed that you have to sow. And again, when you sow the seed of education on the grave of caste, so again you have to come out of your caste, and you have to feel that, first of all, you have to acknowledge that I am equal to all the other people. Just like other people, I have the equal right to pursue my goals, to have education, to have a better life. So only after that you can convince other people that why you deserve what you do deserve, right? Yes. So with this, I think I would like to stop here. So Maitreya, of course, is a very important author, and he put forward so many ideas, and we shall discuss them in upcoming videos. So this video is not comprehensive at all. I advise you to read more on this. Okay, so you can take this video as some reference point in your study of Dalit literature and aesthetics. Yes, thank you so much for watching this.